Hello, I'm EnterElysium, and welcome to Aurora 4X State of the United Earth. This is just going to be kind of like a little recap video as kind of a where we're up to, considering that we've had like 50 years go past in game and a lot has happened. And there's a lot of intricacies. I thought I'd go over kind of what our standing is and what we've been doing. So if we have a quick look at the map, you'll notice that we've managed to branch out quite nicely. The map's actually looking kind of tasty. After a certain amount of time, this will just break down because you'll get like connections between weird systems that you can't really map properly. But for now, it looks nice. We've actually gone past Lewis and started to explore down here. We still haven't any idea where the ghost aliens are. We've encountered the ghost aliens a few different times now, only kind of like passing them, like passing in the night, and we don't know where they live. We know that they have like a tracking station in Lewis, and that's about it. I can't remember where the tracking station is, but there is one. So I really have no idea where the ghosts are based. We don't even know if they're hostile, because all we've really encountered are civilian ships, and not many of them. So we don't know what they're gonna do when we meet them. In terms of our other aliens we've met, the Grosvenor Protectorate are back down to a diplomacy rating of 0. So they're a bit iffy with us. They're all the way up here, so luckily they're kind of contained. They are close to Subject Delta, which is kind of our primary off-world colony, which is a little bit worrying. But yeah, so far they haven't really done anything. Jazz is a really nice system. Like, if they do go to war with us, then yeah, we'd totally make a play to try and take Jazza off them. But it is going to be hard to hold. Luckily, Subject Delta only has the one connection through there. Jazza, we'd need to connect multiple places. I think the ghosts are beyond Linus, maybe, because we did see them coming in and out and fights happening in Jazza. What else do we have? So, we have Sleepy Zoe, which definitely wanting to explore that a little bit further, because you've got this lovely, almost livable world. It's only almost livable. It's a bit too hot. But bring that down should be easy enough. I also think that we're probably going to want to remove water vapor. Between 20 and 70% water, you don't really suffer a penalty to people living on the planet, but after 70%, you start to get reduced landmass for people to live on it, so population's going to be brought down a little bit. But otherwise, this is a really nice world. Like, really nice. So, yeah. It's also got other stuff in the system. Again, the accessibilities are low, but whatever. And they're surveyable. Like, that could go up. We could go survey that and find that loads more stuff around. Yeah, but look at some of these things. Sleepy Zoe is a really good choice for us. The downside is it is pretty far away. We have the jump from Sol to Strategist. The jump point is, you know, however many billion out in Sol. Up here, so yeah, about 6 billion away. It's a pretty long journey. Meanwhile, let's look at Subject Delta, see how you're getting on. There we go. The Geranium is kind of what we're doing here. The only real reason that we are heavily invested is the Geranium. Straight up, that's it. They've also got other things around here that we've got some mining set up on, and again, it's all about the geranium, really. We need it. We need it a lot. This, I can't remember why we've got anyone on this. Why have we got a population here? There's nothing on this world. Why did we do this again? I mean, it is surveyable, so let's look over here. Nope, no idea why we colonized this. Oh, well. Yeah, a lot of geranium in the system, and we do need that at the moment. That's where we're having some issues back on Earth. We need that uranium. We've also got Hoyle. Let's bring up Hoyle. So there is an amazing dormant construct here that we can take advantage of. You know, the world itself is terrible for mining, but also good. Like, it's a 0.1 availability, so you know, it's going to take a lot of effort, but there is a lot of stuff here to mine. But the power propulsion, 80% bonus to research, is amazing. So yes, we want to use Hoyle. Again, we have to take the strategist jump point. It's a long way away. But if we can get 10 million people there and then start giving them research labs, this will very much help us tech up. And that's going to be helpful. Very, very helpful. Hell, power propulsion also covers better fuel consumption. So something we definitely want to look at. Right, let's close that down. Agent. Now, we do have a few people down in Agent. Again, there is geranium down here, a few other things, including neutronium and geranium again. This is certainly something we'll probably want to, you know, kind of get going again. We need the resources. I'm kind of getting to that stage where I'm a little bit worried. We have dwindling resources on Earth, and when that starts to hit bottom, it will go. Oh, actually, we're lower than I thought. Yeah. Yeah, we're relying basically on entirely on off-world right now, other than the geranium we have on Earth, which the accessibility is starting to plummet. How many mines do we have left? Yeah, we can easily get rid of 200 mines there if we can just get people on our planets. Yeah, I think the aim should be trying to get at least 200 mines off of Earth pretty fast. If that means setting up like regular shipments between the planets, that might be something we have to do. Either way, that's our kind of like 1, 2, 3 core worlds. Oil is kind of like a special case. I'd say 4, you know, not including Sol. 4 core systems: Sleepy Zoe, Oil, Agent, Subject Delta. Now, Slaying Hurdle. Where are we? Here we go. Yeah, mostly it's going to be putting habitats in orbit. This is kind of like, if you want the carbonite and the tritanium, it's not that important. But there are some decent asteroids and stuff around here that we could take advantage of. Ultimately, though, meh. Thorium here. This, again, we're looking at a Venusian with 0.1 availabilities. It's a lot of effort to go to. Same kind of again here. Yeah, ultimately Slaying Hurdle's kind of a... We'll put people here to breed, but it's not something that I'm going to really focus on. Likewise here. Again, the corundium isn't bad. You know, it's got corundium, but it's 0.1 availability, so they happen to be there. That's about the only thing I care about. Again, the reason for that, those of you who don't know, the lower the population on the planet, the faster the breeding rate. In fact, I can show you. If you go to Earth here, you'll see annual growth rate 2%. We go over to somewhere like Agent here. You notice it's at 10%. So, nice big bonus there. Right. So that's the worlds. That's all the worlds we've got to deal with. We do have Unique Fossil and Davit, who at some point I would like to kind of like kick these precursors out from, because they're kind of annoying, especially in Davit. It's very frustrating to have to go through that system and be a little bit worried every time. Plus, if there is anything useful in that system, it's got 4 almost habitables. If there is anything like useful here, it would make a great stop-off point. So getting Davit, and hell, being able to explore through beyond Unique Fossil, it's got 2 jump points there we know about, would just be great. So that's something our fleet can look into. Right-o, that's basically it for looking at the map. So what we're going to do now is just have a quick look at some of the designs we've got. The Raglan's been doing great work. I don't think it ever needs to really be upgraded. All it does is it takes platforms and then dumps them. The colony ship got a nice upgrade recently. It's doing work. The Hardy 2, one thing I have to wonder about the Hardy 2. Let's just open this up. I don't know why this isn't in wide view all the time. Our beam fire control. We might want to go for a longer range on the beam fire control. Because the max range right now, yeah. I made a cock up here. The max range is actually less than 10k, and you need 10k for point defense. Basically, it says, hey, if you're going to do point defense, you do it at 10k. Not 0. 10k is effectively a 0 mark for that. So we need to have a longer range on this. It's unfortunate. How are we going to afford to do that? Like, it's going to cost us tonnage. Not much tonnage, though. We could probably fit it somehow. Might involve shaving a little bit of range off or something. The diplomatic ship. Honestly, I don't know what to do about this. I haven't really had any good responses to the aliens and diplomacy. We were kind of managing it for a bit with the Grosvenor Protectorate, and they were equally, like, talking to us. But diplomatic ships also cause diplomacy to go down, because they are a ship, and ships being in enemy space causes them to get unhappy with you. you just have to hope that the ship is pushing it up faster than it's going down, and unfortunately there's no real good feedback for that, so it's hard to tell. We'll keep trying though. Our facts, honestly, we're probably gonna leave them for a while and then maybe do like a big update later on at some point when we can fit them with something that isn't a missile weapon, maybe, or I don't know. For now, they're very much like a, you know, if someone comes into Sol, we'll throw them at them. The Jagnath got another engine recently, which is nice. The fuel harvesting station. Now, we are gaining fuel. Fuel has been a big issue for us. If we have a look over here in our industry, you'll see we're back up to 12.7 million. That's not enough. We need to be at least 50 to be operational. I ideally want at least 70. We've got a lot of military ships that are just sitting there with part-full tanks as well. Like, if we have a quick look at our battle fleet, you notice that, yeah, a fair few of them are just sitting on empty tanks. We could do with another 10 million fuel just to fill these up. Not to talk about the ones that are going to be built in the next year or so. So we need more fuel. We need that quickly. This does generate 24 million liters of fuel per annum, plus any sort of buffs minus the accessibility. So, you know, we're talking in the region of, so maybe like 20 million. We probably need to increase that. This just is not good enough. It needs to be better. Not the station itself, but like we need more stations. Are we currently building a new station? No. I'm assuming we have to do, but the issue is the geranium cost. Can we see the like actual full-on cost for this? No. Guess we can see if we go over here. Would be able to do it. The build cost is 20,000, so it's expensive. Oh, we do 2. I'd say maybe we can do with 3. Yeah, we might need 3, and then we can always move the third one to a different system later on to provide fuel on like a frontline area. Oh, things we have to do. Okay. So, let's look over at our new Grav Survey vessels. You notice that both of them are listed as Grav Survey. That's a cock-up. This should be listed as Geo Survey. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to make sure I do any changes in the actual series itself, but just for now, I just want to point out that, yes, this is a cock-up. It needs to be fixed. The mine layers, honestly, we're just going to call the stake obsolete at some point. I don't know why I haven't already. And the MTs we're never really going to build again. They do the job. That's all they need to do. They plant sensor buoys. Missile Destroyer, the Vash. Honestly, I don't like using missiles too much because they're a little bit like easy mode. But since we are playing kind of hard, and this is kind of more like a accessible series. If I was going to play, you know, hard mode or whatever, it would be a little less accessible. I just wanted to kind of go with, you know what, let's use missiles right now because we are behind in tech compared to everyone probably. This will do a good chunk of damage. And again, is upgradable, especially something that I really appreciate this early on is the fact that missiles, you can put a launcher, and that launcher will probably be good for quite a while, and is easy to change out. The missiles, you can update whenever, you just need to build more missiles, that's fine. Orbital habitats, we're doing good work with those. How many are we up to in orbital habitat Calica? 4, and we're going for a 5th. Okay. The orbital miner, do we want to ever build any more of these? I don't know, maybe. They're a little bit like micromanagey. The orbital weapon platforms, I'm honestly kind of happy with. Do we ever need to change anything? Not really. Like, box launchers don't get much better. The active sensor, it covers the jump point, that's all it needs to do. Same for the missile fire control. Honestly, this design, what are we going to change about it? It's good. It's fine. It also comes in at 7 tons under the max, so yeah. This is why I love this little platform. It's ridiculous, and honestly, it's a bit weird. I think this might, again, be missiles being a little bit OP, but if I take off all the maintenance, no one is on this platform at all. 0 people. If you put, like, 1 beam weapon on something, it's like you need 20 crew for that. You put 8 missile launchers, yeah, you don't need any crew. It's fine. Missile launchers don't need people. The only thing that these people are here for is maintenance. So that's why it's so cheap to get so many things here, because it only has 4 crew. If you try and do the same with like a beam weapon, you'll end up with, you know, 24 crew or something just for the one beam weapon. Doesn't really work very well. So, you know, this is ridiculous. And the only thing you can really do this is kind of like a proper platform with any sort of decent life expectancy is pretty much with missiles, which is kind of disappointing. The shuttle, yeah, it's an RP thing. Stabilization ship, yeah. The only downside is it's using the small jump point stabilization module, so we need to plan ahead, but that's not really been an issue. It's been a pretty slow game so far, mostly because obviously we started off without picking any free techs. The squid. I mean, it's a tanker. It tanks. It's not a military tanker. It won't be able to keep up with a fleet, but, you know, it does the job for hauling fuel around. Terraforming station, the green... Honestly, I'm not going to build another one of these. 5 million tons was maybe a bit much. Next time, we'll probably go for something with, say, 80 terraformers rather than 200. It was 200, right? Yeah. Just because that makes it a lot easier to move around. Although, that said, I still also think we need to build a bigger tug. Bigger tug also would mean more fuel, but maybe that can be a future thing. Troop transport, again, this is just for moving around the geosurvey battalions, etc., whatever. It's not designed to go into enemy areas. It's, you know, fine. It does the job. It goes there, it comes back, whatever. And the tug. The Alistair 2, I think, is a good workaround to be able to drain the fuel. I still find it very annoying that you need to have a special item to be able to drain fuel when you're at a major fuel depot. It feels very weird. But that's the way it is. So when I think our second one, the Lilstrom, gets back to Earth, we'll upgrade you, drain you of fuel, and that will help us hopefully get a military online. So we might actually be able to use our military earlier just by having, you know, how much is that? Like 20 million liters of fuel we get out, 25 million liters of fuel. Yeah, there's a lot of fuel to be able to get. Either way, that's our setup there. What else do we have? Let's look at ground units, because that's something we'll need to start work on. So currently we only have the Fortification Company, the Geological Survey Company, and the Xenoarchaeology Company. Both of those do what they say on the tin. There's no real reason to change these at any point unless we're, I don't know, upgrading our troopers or whatever. And even then, meh. The Fortification Company, there's been a little bit of confusion about that. It's not designed to be part of a complicated hierarchy. I made this mostly to just be A, we fill the need of the mandate that made us build it, and B, we can now take these to other worlds and dump them individually, and they'll provide a bit of defense. You know, they're not meant to be working in part of some complicated command chain to get all bonuses. These are ones that we can put down individually, and they will operate individually. If I was going to do a complicated command chain, they would be specialized. As it is, they're very mixed. You know, you've got your tractor in with everything else. You've got your STO in with everything else. You've got your bunkers and your Argus drone, all of them kind of mishmash together. And that's not something I would typically do, just because it would be more efficient to specialize. Right, a little bit loud. There we go. In terms of tech, we still only have the light armor. We do have our heavy vehicles with the heavy vehicle armor though, and we do not have heavy anti-tank yet. That must be what we're waiting on then. Heavy armor. Do we not have heavy... Oh, wait. Am I blind? Oh, there we go. Heavy anti-vehicle. Yeah. We could straight up start building assault companies now. We have the tech. Now, ideally, you know, I'd like heavy armor. Heavy armor is all the way here, and it will cost us. Not too much, actually. That's not too bad, yeah. I think we'll hold out for the heavy armor. Yeah, okay. STOs, we'll probably want to make a few to defend Earth. Proper STOs with good weapons. Not that we have any particularly amazing ones right now. Beyond that all seems good. Missiles. We could talk about our missiles. You know, the Wakazashi, which is spelt incorrectly. And the katana, but we went over this quite recently. They are fine. Meant to be used kind of like as a choice. Either we fire them at shorter range or we fire them at longer range. The katana, if we load that up, you'll see it has a range of 70 million, which may be a bit much, but yeah, it'll be fun for the future. Speed is reasonable. The hit chance is decent enough for a missile at this stage in the game. And then we've got the Wakizashi, which is designed to be used at a much closer range, 10 million kilometers. And here we're starting to get 100% hit chance on 5 kilometer per second vessels. Basically, the alternate use. If they are too fast, then we use the Wakizashi. If they have, powerful, annoying missiles, then we probably want to take the long range with the katana, hopefully. I don't know, we'll see. Right. That said, let's close that down. Is there anything further to look at? I don't think so. No, I think we're good. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about some of the motions and the elections. I'll have to cover this again briefly in the next episode, but it's a little bit more long-winded. We have the Alliance of Sexy Scientists won the election, and the opposition party, the one who came in second, is the Lord Commissioners, which is the reverse of last time, except this time they didn't go into a coalition. So the Alliance of Sexy Scientists took the lead, decided not to go into a coalition, and we have motions being passed. Let me bring them up now. So we have the Interstellar Recovery Service Act, which basically says I have to make a salvage ship that can try and keep up with the fleet and should be able to rescue life pods as well. That seems like a good idea. If we can find enemy tech and scavenge it and use it for our own, makes sense. The Propulsion Development Act, that we need a minimum of 10 research labs dedicated to power propulsion at any one time, preferably on fuel consumption. That's nice. Are we fulfilling that right now? 1. We are not. Okay, that's actually going to really slow us down a fair amount. Especially because I was hoping to get the mining production mainlined. Oh well, probably going to rip some of that from our new active sensor work. And maybe a bit from replenishment and whatever. We'll make it work. Right. What's next? Those two have passed, by the way. They passed very quickly and relatively unanimously. The next two are actually highly contended, and I don't think they're actually going to pass. We've got the Military Escort Act, which requires us to make kind of a... Effectively, it's a frigate, maybe corvette tonnage. We need a new class of ship between 5 kilotons and 15 kilotons. That needs to be faster to construct than the current cruisers while using the pre-existing command cruisers for sensors and FTL. So effectively, it's kind of like our missile destroyers, except smaller, and it's not going to have the sensors of the bigger ships. It's going to work with them, etc. Blah blah blah. People are downvoting that on the basis of, I believe, fuel consumption. Like, we should be focusing on other stuff like fuel right now, not building small ships, because small ships generally use a bit more fuel. Smaller drives being less efficient. And the next one is the More Ordnance Act, which this motion aims to introduce size 6 cluster missiles, size 6 cluster anti-missile missiles, and size 1 anti-missile missiles to the fleet. The issue with this part of the reason it's getting voted down, is that we do not really have the tech to make effective anti-missile missiles. Our anti-missile missiles will be kind of meh, which is one of the reasons I didn't make them for point defense. You need decent sensors to be able to detect the enemy missiles far enough out, and then you need decent enough missiles to have a high chance to hit other missiles, which is somewhat tough. So we would need to redirect our research to make that possible. Cluster anti-missile missiles is they're just, I'm not even sure they're possible, but even if they are, they would be really, really bad, because you'd be firing multiple missiles at each missile. You would be using like far more tonnage for each missile that's coming at you than would really be worthwhile. And cluster missiles, apart from some iffy bugs in the game right now, they are possible. But again, the way cluster missiles work is you want them breaking apart before you hit the enemy anti-missile range. Because if they don't, then one enemy anti-missile can take out your entire cluster missile block. If they break apart, it makes it harder to intercept them. The issue with that especially when you're saying they have to be size 6, is that there's not going to be a lot of explosive power in each one, especially early on in the tech tiers. And while later on they can be good for penetrating anti-missile defense, early on we're going to have issues because we can't pack enough into each, you know, smaller missile to really have the effect we want. So I am dubious about that. I'll implement as best I can if it passes, but it's currently getting downvoted because it's generally considered, as I said, to be something we need to dedicate a lot of research to make it possible to do it. Yeah, and then the opposition raised a bill, a motion, which is to remove the house's militaries. So the house system, they basically to try and nerf their militaries. It doesn't remove them entirely, but it does kind of truncate them. And it would be the first of 3 steps on the way to kind of like defanging the houses and stopping them being a overarching power in the United Earth. That one is very hotly debated, and currently it looks like it will pass, so we'll see where that goes. That could be interesting. So that is the state of the United Earth. There is a lot going on. I think we still need to just focus, mainline down on the fuel, stop us going back under, especially when the you know, fleet's built. Build the army up so we can go back to Vastran, and minerals. Those 3 have to be the top priority now, because we're reaching that point where if we're not careful, we are going to go under on minerals because we're not relying on minerals built on Earth. And while we got relatively lucky-ish with the solar system, and we've managed to prevent that going too far under, it is partly because we have kind of a large amount of stockpiles on Earth. If we go to mining, you'll see our stockpiles are good, but they are depleting. And like I said, if we're not careful, that will bottom out and we'll be in trouble. It's not an issue right now, except for maybe geranium. Like, geranium is iffy. But if that starts to bottom out, this will be worse than the fuel crisis. It will grind everything to a halt because Earth is still vastly superior to every other planet we own. We need to really start shipping people off world and spreading around a little bit more. Speaking of which, we might need another set of colony ships. Only being able to ship 1 million at the moment per, I don't know what group. Yeah, I've only got the one group. That's kind of an issue. One surprise was that there were no motions to enable conscription. So no, you know, conscription on the Jagnafs, etc. You know, freighters don't really get any bonuses from having commanders. But with no conscription motion, I'm limited to what I can do. So our commanders are ending up in weird places like colony ships and not on military ships. If we look at our battle fleet, luckily the priority is assigning them here. That's good. Yeah, we've still got a few holes in the facts, but it's being filled up at least. So that's the state of the UE. We do have a few civilian lines. I'm going to try and, if I can, buff them a bit. We're buying as much as we can from all the civilian mining complexes as well, which is helping a little bit. Our money's, you know, negative right now, but it does fluctuate, and we have a lot of reserves, so I'm not worried about that to begin with. But it's something to look out for future. But yeah, the 3 main things really have to be fuel, minerals, and whatever the other one was that I now can't remember. It was so important that I've forgotten. But anyway, I've been EnterElysium. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick look at the state of United Earth. If you want me to do more of them every time we have an election, let me know. Until next time, stay shiny.